wire, and a lot of things that we've been talking about have actually come to fruition. A lot of the guys that these two guys have mentioned have been guys you want to pick up. Key name, Dearness Johnson. You know what I mean? You guys both raved about him. People, if you picked them up, I mean, you benefited, like Dave said. So we are here to answer your questions, ladies and gentlemen. So, hey, we've seen it. I've seen you guys hitting us up in the chat. I appreciate you. Hopefully you stuck with us. For those of you who did, we're going to go right into it. Little Waddy said, super flex, 0.5 PPR, Mike Kirk and Najee for Dalvin and Darnold.
Darnold. Which Darnold? Sam Darnold?
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
That's what I would assume.
I'm trying to think if there's any other Darnold.
Aaron Donald. Oh, no, that's Donald.
Yeah, I can't think of any. I mean, if that's the case, I don't – unless you're in like a 16-team league, I don't think Sam Darnold has any fantasy value as of right now. He's been rough.
Yeah.
So – and Najee's outperformed Dalvin this year. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know I'm a Steelers fan saying that, but just look at the numbers. He's killing it. I mean, he's got more – I think as of last week before his bye, he had more receptions than any rookie. That included receivers. So he had – more receptions than all the receiving rookies. That includes Jamar Chase and the people going off like that. So just that alone makes Najee more valuable. Also, Dalvin's hurt. So, I mean, and Christian Kirk has, I mean, he's going to have 10 games this year where he scores more than 10 points just because he gets the targets. So I like both of them way more than I like. I mean, Najee over Dalvin, and I don't think Darnold's worth anything. So Kirk over Darnold. And I don't think you give that up at all.
Yeah, I think at this point you missed the Darnold.
Are you sure
praise.
this is Christian Kirk and not Captain Kirk?
Captain Kirk
could be. I mean,
I can't read it. I'm just.
I still, yeah. I mean, it says Kirk and Najee.
So I mean, if it's Captain Kirk, he's better than Darnold. I think.
Right.
He's got more weapons. I like
the way I was reading that. It was quarterback, running back for quarterback, running back.
Well, yeah.
I like Kirk over Darnold then, and I like Najee over Dalvin. So, yeah,
I'm on that side of this trade all day.
Oh yeah. And Dalvin has look. I have Dalvin in some of my leagues. He has been injury prone. That means he'll get you the points, but you had those 2 or 3 weeks in the beginning of the year where he was either injured or he was back, but he was dealing with that injury. So, let's move on. LeBron's brain said, "Would you trade away Pittman for Cooks?"
Me personally, I would not. Pittman has come on strong. It's usually the second year for receivers that come out when they really show who they are. Cooks is great. Don't get me wrong. He's like the only option in Houston. But when it's two solid receivers like that, where I put them on the same level, I just go with the quarterback I like more. And I like Wentz more than Davis Mills over in Houston. Maybe when Tyrod gets back, Cooks is worth more, but I don't know how long that'll be. And Pittman seems to be the guy right now. He's been killing it.
Yeah.
Rather than going with the best option in a bad situation, which Cooks is, I go with the guy who has a quarterback that they're still developing a relationship.
Right.
Pittman has carried me in the Let's Talk Football League due to injuries. He's on my bench, and he's been a starter almost every week for me. And him and Carson Wentz haven't even come close to reaching their potential as a quarterback-receiver combo. So I definitely go with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen what Pittman can do. And we know T.Y. is injured, but when T.Y. gets back, I mean, that they'll free up some more space for Pittman. Pittman has been playing great. I have him on my fantasy, so I agree with you guys. All right, Bambo says, with Mark Ingram traded, is David Johnson or Philip Lindsay a good pick, or stay away from any Texans running backs?
Stay away.
Yeah.
I mean,
I gotta agree.
I mean, if I don't want Brandon Cooks, I sure don't want anything out of their backfield. But
yeah, I mean, I would want Brandon Cooks. I think he's the only Houston player of value. Like David Johnson has not looked like David Johnson in a long time. Philip Lindsay's good, but not in Houston. Houston's just bad all around. So I don't trust anybody out of that offense if you're not named Brandon Cooks.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, moving on. Nathan, I'm confused if you mean should I keep Herbert
For Carr.
and is it and Carr or Carr? And do you mean Herbert the running back or do you mean quarterback?
Quarterback. I would assume he means quarterback because
I know he has Herbert the quarterback, I believe.
I think he's asking if he should keep both quarterbacks or just run with one.
Yeah,
that's what it sounds like. I don't think it's bad to keep two.
Yeah.
I personally don't keep two if I have a guy like Justin Herbert because I'm never going to start Carr over Herbert. I don't think ever really. So because of that, I might try and trade Carr if you can get some value out of him. But if I wouldn't just drop Carr just to drop Carr to pick somebody up that has no value. So if you need a spot on your bench, I think it's okay to drop Carr. Like if you absolutely need it, like Mageddon just happened. So if you needed to drop him in that scenario, I would have done it knowing you have Herbert. But I think the best case is to try and trade Carr for something for somebody that is desperate for a quarterback.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'd even keep them both, to be honest with you, unless it came into that situation like the Brian McGinn. He was saying Justin Herbert and Derek Carr. So yeah. So hopefully, Nathan, that answered your question.
I've got Dak in the Let's Talk Football League. I have not rostered a second quarterback in that league.
Right.
I drafted Justin Fields, let him go because I wanted the roster spot. I did not pick up another quarterback until I picked up Teddy for By Mageddon.
Right.
Teddy is now gone. Dak's the guy. I'm never going to start anybody over Dak from the available quarterbacks. So wasted roster spot.
I get that. All right, moving on to James Zhao, he's been with us the last couple of weeks. Appreciate you watching us, man. He said trade Henderson, Monty, Judy, Logan Thomas for CMC and Brandon Cooks 8-man PPR league.
Oof. So trading Darrell Henderson.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think who Monty is. David Montgomery? Maybe?
Could be that. Could be David Montgomery.
Jerry Jeudy, Logan Thomas for CMC and Brandon Cooks.
Yeah. Two players on IR for CMC, who's on IR.
And Brandon Cooks.
If that is David Montgomery and Jeudy both healthy, that's decent value for CMC. And then you got Henderson, Logan Thomas for Brandon Cook.
Yeah.
Depending on the rest of your roster, if you can be patient and wait, then picking up that many IR players, I mean, I have no issues with either side of this really. Because if you have Montgomery and Jeudy, and you want to cut down on your IR spots and still come out of it with a solid player, CMC is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's an 8-man PPR.
So you probably have a really good team aside from them, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Which means you're just upgrading for the long haul. And if CMC comes back healthy, I think it is good for the long haul. Like if you have a decent team and you just want to upgrade going forward, like because I'm assuming you have another running back or two that starts over Henderson and Montgomery.
Right.
Because obviously you can't start Montgomery. And if you're just going to be able to wait for CMC because you have other people, if say you had like a Najee or a Zeke or something like that, being able to pair that with CMC going forward could put you over the top and give you the win for the league long term. Yeah, for sure.
And you're cutting down those IR spots. In an 8-man league, there's always something available on waivers each week. And tying up those slots with players on injured reserve when there is real value out there, I think making the move to CMC and Cooks could be very beneficial.
Yep. Yeah. I can see it for sure.
Definitely. All right, moving on. Let's see what we got here. Is David Johnson going to become a fantasy option with Mark Ingram gone? No.
I don't think so. He's just not the same. Even with last year they got him. He had a great start to the season, but then he just fell off because I just don't think the talent's there anymore, and Houston's just not good enough. Yeah. My personal opinion. I think they like Philip Lindsay as well, so he's not going to be like the featured guy by himself. Right. And their offense it's just not good enough to sustain, I think, a running back right now. I mean, is he worth roster spot and like seeing if he can turn into something? That might be a thing. But I don't think he's going to be. I wouldn't drop somebody that you need or have a little bit of faith in just to pick him up. If you have like somebody that you want to drop, you're over somebody and taking a flyer on David Johnson, I don't think is a bad idea, but definitely not going after him or.
The only way I make that move is if I have an extra roster spot, and I just want to play defense and stash him. I'm not picking him up hoping for production. I'm picking him up in case he produces, and I didn't want anybody else to have him.
Right. Playing defense, basically. Yeah. Shout out to Holden Longacre that's been waiting. He said, trade away Aaron Rodgers and Jamal Williams for Patty Mahomes. Not the way Patty's playing now. And non-PPR league.
Non-PPR devalues Jamal Williams a little bit. Not a ton, but a little bit. And, I mean, Aaron Rodgers is playing just as good as Mahomes as of late, so I don't think you give up a running back basically for nothing.
Yeah.
I personally don't see the Chiefs getting that much better going forward. I think they are who they are. I don't think Patty Mahomes is going to start dropping 50 points like he used to. I don't think their line is good enough. And I think it's hard to say people have figured him out because he's so talented. So I don't want to say that people have figured him out, but he's not taking the league by storm that he did when he was young and like surprising people. So he's not going to have those 50-point weeks where Aaron Rodgers is just, he's been doing it for 17 years. We know what he is. So I think they're too similar of players to make it worth it. Personally, that's my take. That's a really tough one. I wouldn't do it personally, but I don't think I guess it's not a terrible trade if you make it either.
Who were the two players for Mahomes?
Aaron Rodgers
and Jamal Williams.
Yeah.
We talked about it earlier in the show. I was offered Mahomes and Tim Patrick for Kamara, and I said no. I'm 100% with Sid. To an extent, I don't think that Mahomes is going to turn the ball over at the rate he has been. I do think he cleans that up. Andy Reid isn't going to allow that to keep happening. Mahomes has already said, after a couple press conferences that he knows that he has to play better. I don't expect them to be as bad as they've been, but I also agree that I think the league has to an extent figured out how to slow that offense down. You're never going to figure out Mahomes because he's like Neo. His talent lies in going off script. That's not something you can quantify and or prepare for. So I do think he'll clean it up though, and I think he'll be a decent quarterback going forward.
Yeah, but Aaron Rodgers is no slouch, so you're not really getting too much of an upgrade. I don't think.
And like I said earlier when Dalton was on, when I looked at it, my initial thought was no, but if you put Aaron Rodgers in that, then we can talk.
Right.
So yeah.
All right, we got another one for you from Lazo. He said 12-man full PPR. You have to sit one: Jamar Chase, Debo, CD Lamb, or Calvin Ridley. For me, I'd say Ridley.
Yeah. I think Ridley's the answer strictly because of what we've been talking about the last couple of weeks. That Kyle Pitts' emergence in that offense is to Ridley's detriment. It's not that Ridley's being a lesser of a player. He's still talented and he's going to get his looks, but he's getting less looks because of who Kyle Pitts is and his emergence in the offense. And so having Jamar Chase, the number one in a high-flying offense, Debo, the number one, and the emergence of CD Lamb finally being who he is with Dak, I think Ridley's the guy you sit.
Absolutely. Not to mention Russell Gage is back.
Yeah, another weapon that is going to take shares.
That was 6 targets. I actually had some notes on Russell Gage. 4 out of 6 targets, 67 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, with Pitts coming on strong, like you said, it's not that Ridley's not a great player. It just, I mean, that offense is going different directions now, I think, with Pitts.
Yeah, I think that. So it's similar to the CD situation, Calvin Ridley, because CD's got a lot of mouths to feed in his offense as well. The difference is Dak to Matt Ryan. So if I'm looking at a 3-headed monster in Dallas with Amari, CD, and even Dalton Schultz or whatnot, versus Calvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts, and Russell Gage, I like Dak being able to distribute and find the better man more than I like Matt Ryan to do it. So that's why I go CD over Ridley.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree. All right. Ryan Hayes says Thielen and Swift for Eckler. He said, at wide receiver, I have Tony, Debo, Cooks, and Ridley. And at running back, I have CMC, Jacobs, and Chuba. And he has Phil PPR 12-man league.
1 sec. My child has crashed the...
Let's go. What's up?
Sorry, I'm
Hey, buddy. That's shy?
Yeah, crashed in here. All right,
so former junior reporter.
There you go. All right, so this one's tough. So Thielen and Swift for Eckler. I love Eckler in a PPR, but my thing is Swift so far this year is the number 2 running back in fantasy, PPR fantasy. Like he's produced. I mean, he's not the big name because he's in Detroit and nobody thinks about him, but if you just look at his points, he's absolutely crushing it, super consistent. So you got depth at receiver, having Kadarius Toney, Debo, Cooks, and Ridley. So I can see giving up Thielen being okay, and that's fine. And you got good running backs too. So I don't think Eckler's as much of an upgrade over Swift today. I'm 8 weeks through the season to make the trade because of how good Swift is doing. I would try and trade, honestly, CMC for Eckler, or if they would take even another one of the receivers and like Josh Jacobs or Chuba and keeping Swift, because if you could pair Swift with Eckler, then your team is stacked and you got to worry about much. Right now, Swift is equal to Eckler, so there's no reason.
That's exactly where I was going to go with that. Was I would take Swift out of that and package Thielen with somebody else, even 2 or 3 players, because you're doing okay at receiver. Tony, Debo, Cooks, and Ridley, and Thielen. You're doing fine at receiver. Throw a couple of those receivers, exactly like Sid said, to try and pair Swift and Eckler. You do that, and you're scary. And then you're waiting for CMC to come back, and you've got, who let her in here?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Ash said, hey, I have Swift and Eckler in the league, but you didn't get a W this past week.
I would say it depends on which league she's in, because if it's in the league she's 6-1 in, that explains why.
He said, let's go.
Well, I am definitely entertaining ideas for trades.
Yeah.
For either one of them, Ash. I can go pick up Teddy. Teddy again. Teddy for Swift.
Yeah.
Wow. No. Let's go. And hey, I got one more from Nathan. Nathan just asked ballpark best tight end in fantasy.
He's just asking who the best tight end is?
In fantasy.
Right now, it's got to be Kyle
I know who
Pitts.
I want, but go ahead.
I think it – I'm trying to think. Make sure I'm not missing anybody. I think it's got to be Kyle Pitts currently.
Mm.
Yep.
I think it has to be with the emergence of who he is in that offense. Kelsey hasn't been Kelsey this year.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a great tight end. You're never not going to start him, or you'll want him all the ways. But I think the emergence of Kyle Pitts has him as the number one. I think if I had to redraft and I'm taking one tight end for the rest of the season, I think I want Kyle Pitts. I think the upside of him is greater than any other tight end. And I'm trying to go through the list in my head, and I think that's.
I mean, Mark Andrews, Dawson Knox, Dalton Schultz.
Mm-hmm.
No.
I think I take Pitts over all of them.
I take Pitt, yeah.
Nobody.
Because they're never going to be.
And here's where. Go ahead.
I was going to say my big reason for Pitts is their team is never going to be dominating another team where they don't throw the ball.
Right.
The Falcons are going to throw the ball all 4 quarters every single game this year. Whereas every other team where a good tight end is there, they're going to blow out some teams where they're not going to play the full game. And I mean, obviously other tight ends will outscore them, but he's going to get 10 targets a game. And I think consistently, and he's good. So I have no problem with him.
My big reason is that we have no idea. We know we've seen what he's done so far. We have no idea how much better he can be.
Right.
You know, he real slow start for him and Matt Ryan. It took Ridley being out for the two of them to really connect. And like I said that week, I don't expect them to regress. And sky's the limit for that kid.
Yeah, I think so too. He's got all the talent in the world.
Absolutely. Ash is chiming in and said 2 teams are 6-1, and we play each other this week. Oh, okay. All right, Ash.
I like your chances. I was looking at that matchup. I like your chances.
We will see. And one more question real quick. Ryan Hayes said, Ertz or Dallas? Does that mean Ertz or Dallas D or?
Dallas Goedert?
Oh, yeah. Dallas Goedert.
Gotta be Goedert.
Yeah, personally, now that I picked up Ertz a couple weeks ago, right before he got traded, I like Ertz. I like the offensive Ertz way more than Dallas Goedert's offense. I like the quarterback of Ertz now. I mean, just in the first week, Kyler and Ertz already have the connection. That's like the best sign you could see. Off of 1 week of practice, they're already on the same page. I like Ertz all the way. Jalen Hurts is still developing. He doesn't have the arm talent that Kyler has. Also doesn't – now with Ertz not in Philly, Dallas Goedert is their possession guy. I mean, Devontae Smith's a deep threat, and they're probably the best pass catcher, but Dallas Goedert's going to be the guy that everybody keys on. Every defense is going to look for him. Ertz is going to be behind.
We say it all the time.
AJ Green, Christian Kirk. There's so many people to guard there that Ertz is going to be able to eat.
Yeah, we say it all the time. When in doubt, go with the better quarterback. And this one's not even close. Right, but the fact that Zach Ertz just become the first player in NFL history to score a touchdown with 2 different teams in back-to-back weeks.
I thought you didn't do that, Dave.
His gloves just went to camp. The fact that him and Kyler Murray are already on the same page and Murray's already looking to get him involved, that just spells good things.
Great sign, yeah.
I'm going to disagree just slightly. And the only reason I am is because of the same thing you guys talked about. In Philly, there's nobody else outside of Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert. And that's it. We know he's either going look 1, look 2, run. You know what I mean? So I think he's going to get and that's the thing about Ertz. Like, I love it. He had the 47-yard touchdown this week, but it's like on a healthy day, there are so many mouths to feed over there. So you're hoping for one big touchdown or in the red zone or one deep pass or something like that. I think Goedert. I think he might be a little better, but I mean they're definitely both good options, no doubt, no doubt. Oh wow! Hashtag fake stat from Ashley.
She's an Eagles hater, so anybody that has to do with the Eagles, she's gonna take her shot at.
Over. Yes, I love it. We thank you so much for your questions. You never fail, always giving us these questions, and we appreciate it. Definitely. So look, we're coming close to the end of the show, and as we do, thank you for watching